Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. It always cracks me up when our guests rock out to our theme music.
It's something about the bongo drums. People just
so.
can't resist.
Oh, yeah.
Carl Bessai joining us, director, and Ben Ratner. He is one of the stars of Sisters and Brothers, the completion of the trilogy. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think the completion of the trilogy.
Trilogy is 3.
Well, that's true.
And this is the 3rd.
But I wasn't sure whether maybe you would just add a 4.
To keep going.
Yeah.
I think that you could do uncles, you could do aunts, you could do grandparents, but all of these different permutations are housed in fathers, mothers, daughters, sisters, brothers, like everyone's one of those.
Yeah.
Sisters and Brothers, it is a must-see at the film festival here. Tell us a little bit about it and who's in it aside from Ben.
It's a crazy ensemble. It's an improvised comedic drama. It's 4 central stories that weave together. Corey Monteith and Dustin Milligan play crazy brothers. Benny Ratner and Gabe Miller play sister brother. And then Amanda Crew and Camille Sullivan are 2 sisters who are kind of dragged to Hollywood by Tom Ratner.
Right.
Tom Schultz, I'm sorry.
Tom Schultz.
Tommy Schultz is the
Ben
only,
Ratner.
he's the only carryover from the last movie. Tom and I decided he would continue to play Henry, who was the schlebby brother in the last film.
You did a great job. Now,
and then
Ben,
the final was Casey Roll and Gabrielle Rose and
Of
Lena
course.
Monroe, who were the latest addition in the 4 stories. And I think just awesome.
We were talking actually to Gabrielle about her audition and the whole
48
casting
hours?
process. They come in, talk about it, and away you go. But that's a style of filmmaking that really sort of represents this whole thing, though. I mean, you're really putting a lot of...
Well, I had a 4th story that I was working on with some other people, and there were a lot of logistic reasons why it couldn't work. And I was going to just go with a 3, and then I was talking to Gabrielle Rose on the phone, and she's in the other 2 films, and I really wanted her somewhere in this, and so I was trying to sort of shoehorn her into one of the stories, and we got talking and just jamming, and I thought, let's just have a meeting and let's see what happens. And then I had heard of Casey Roll from my friend who shot The Sunflower Hour, and I saw a bit of that film, and I loved her, and I thought, well, let's just get them together, and they just...
It gelled. It worked. Now,
great.
Ben, we have to talk about your character. Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, you know, our story is essentially about this idea of codependence. Are you your brother's keeper? So I came to Carl with this sort of idea that we fleshed out together, and as we added other actors, it grew. It's essentially the story of a schizophrenic guy who's just been arrested, and his sister gets him out of jail, and what happens next? How do you deal when you have a mentally ill sibling?
Yeah, you brought a beautiful nuance to this, because obviously there are moments of really great humor in this, but there's also parts where it's just, you realize that there's always going to be one sibling, or hopefully there's one sibling that's going to kind of step forward and sort of assist and help.
And you never know what's going to happen with these kind of movies until you start shooting. Gabe could have just made a choice that she was fed up with this guy and couldn't deal with him at all. But through what she brought to it, was she unconditionally loved this guy. No matter what he did, she kept loving him.
Explain what you're talking about, the style.
The process of the movie and how you guys go through it before we look at a scene, because I had to verify with you that it was all ad-lib, because it's a hilarious scene. But how do you guys do it, and how much do you film?
I can tell you, everyone has a different process. I come to it with very strong ideas, and then things happen, and Carl guides it in a certain direction, and the other actors contribute. But this particular shoot was pure mayhem. And I think if there was...
Carl, care to verify?
Our storyline.
It was incredible. I mean, it was a serious story in a certain way. And I mean, I think Ben and I talked a lot about this, and then I hooked him up with a fellow who's the head of psychiatry at CAMH in Toronto, whom I know because we've screened films at Rendezvous with Madness, which is a Toronto festival. Yeah. And he's a great guy, and I thought he'll be amazing as a resource, and they talked a lot. And we took this whole schizophrenic thing really seriously, and it's not funny. It's not funny. But the beauty was this incredible commitment that Ben and Gabe brought to the characters. Their love of each other is so palpable in the film. And I mean, it's heartbreaking. And so I think that we found this kind of wonderful balance between the humor and the kind of pathos of this relationship. And I wanted each story to have a very different texture, have a very different treatment of the sibling relationship, so it didn't feel like redundancy, Yeah. But I'm really proud of the work these guys did, because it's so Oh, it's so honest, you know.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like as a filmmaker, you know, you work at many different styles, different ways, but the whole scripted drama thing can sometimes be restrictive in a way that you're only as good as that script.
Right.
This enables us to freestyle, to search, to guess, to chase weird ideas, some which work, some which don't. But it's magic. It's magic.
They
Well,
say
and this will give you an idea of it. This is one of the scenes involving, of course, Ben Ratner as Jerry and the beautiful Gabrielle Miller. Here we go.
Now, I'm gonna have to get a hat somewhere very soon, or we're gonna have a serious problem. Where are you going?
I'm gonna go get you a hat. Stay here.
You put a C inside a circle and you'll see what copyright's all about. And it's a statute of the Canadian government, and you can talk to Pierre Trudeau. You can dig his ass up right now, and you can shine up his head, and you can say, Mr. Pierre Elliott Trudeau. And that's copyright.
Do you like it?
I think I do.
Good.
I think I do.
Looks good.
So good.
So good.
Wow.
Ben, how is it for you doing a movie like this where you're ad-libbing, you get that freedom as an actor?
I love it, you know, I just love it. They say you can't, I mean, I gotta, you know, thank Carl for having that much trust in his actors. They say you can't polish a turd, right? So if you don't have something strong to start with, a strong story, which we work very collaboratively on the stories, you have nowhere to go. And I remember in the very early process of this, when we were doing an improv, we were improvising the scene in which Gabe picks me up from the police station. And I had made this decision that I was going to be very, you know, pushing her away and not wanting to deal with her. And Carl said, no, but what if you need her, need her? And I thought, no, that's not right. I don't need her. I'm in this thing. He said, oops, sorry. He said, but just in character, right? He said, what if you need her? What if you need her? And I just thought, no, I don't. And so then he said, just do it, just try it. So I went, okay. And that's where the whole relationship
And it's
grew
such
from.
a great scene,
I just
'cause it
said,
just
I'm
shows
just going to need, I said, okay, my head's going to fly off if she doesn't hold my head on. And we ended up keeping that in the movie.
Amazing.
And
That is
so
brilliant.
that's the process, just staying open.
Work, all you guys. Carl, congrats.
Oh,
it is
thank
a
you.
must-see at VIF. You can go to vif.org to find out about the screening time. It does screen tonight at the Vogue. Get your tickets early. I'm sure it will sell out. And then again on Tuesday. And you can go to the website for more info.
Beautiful stuff. Love it. We're going to take a break.